Hi guys, hopefully by this point you're kind of used to the video examples and then doing your assignment either by paper or going on to Woot Math. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to be talking about will be due on March 27th. This one we are talking about graphing quadratic functions. Okay, this was like your guys' favorite thing to do, I know it. Okay, so we're going to do two examples together and then you'll have two to do on your own. Okay, so let's get going. Let's look at number one. I'll zoom in for you guys. We know that number one is in standard form. We have two options, okay? Standard form or vertex form. Number one is in standard form. Okay, we know it's in standard form because we have two x's right here, an x squared, and then one x in the middle, no x on the end. So we know that we can label that coefficient as a, that coefficient as b, and then our constant as c. Okay, you guys are going to remember that we need these because there's a little formula that we always use in order to find the vertex. Okay, to find our vertex, which is the very top or very bottom of our graph, we first need to find the x part. The vertex is an actual coordinate point, but in order to find the x part, we use this formula right here. Negative b over 2 times a. Hopefully you guys remember that. Okay, so I've labeled everything. We know that we can now just fill it in. So x is equal to negative b over 2 times a. Now let's just fill in these spots with what we actually labeled. We know that b on top is a negative 6. Okay, a, there's nothing there. That's always an invisible 1. Okay, so we know we can now start simplifying. X equals double negative on top, that actually turns into a positive 6. 2 times 1 on bottom. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we know that the x part of our vertex is 3. We still don't know the y part. That's what we're going to solve right now. Okay, so I'm going to zoom it up just a little bit so we have some room. So now in order to find the y part, okay, notice right up here if we look, it actually gives us y equals something. Well, we now know what x is, so we're going to plug in 3, what we found for x. Everywhere we see an x in our equation. Okay, so I'm going to come back down here. So first there was an x squared spot, minus 6 times x plus 5. Okay, now I can fill in those spots because we know we just found that x was 3. So fill in those spots for 3. Now we can go ahead and solve it. 3 squared, or 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, minus 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, we'll solve that before we get to the 5. 9 minus 18 is going to give us a negative 9. Then I'll bring down my plus 5. Negative 9 plus 5 is going to give me a negative 4. And we found that y, the y part of my vertex, is negative 4. Okay, so I can go ahead, put that vertex on my graph now. So everybody find positive 3 on your x-axis first because the x comes first, and then we'll go down to negative 4. There's my vertex. Okay, and we know that since our a coefficient was 1, we can use our beautiful trick, up 1 over 1, up 3 over 1, and mirrored on the other side, up 1, back 1, again 1, 2, 3 over 1. Connect those points with a solid line, and we are good. That is graphing in standard form. Okay, we actually had to solve to find the vertex for our standard form. But this is what your quadratic graph should look like. Perfect. Okay, number 2. I like number 2 because it's a little bit simpler. We don't actually have to solve anything to find our vertex. This one is actually in vertex form. Okay? When it's in vertex form, it actually tells us what our vertex is. Okay, our vertex, if you guys remember, is negative h, k. Okay, you guys are going to be like, well, why are we using h and k? Okay, our h is always right here. Our k is at the end. Okay, that negative h just tells us that we need to change the sign on whatever our h is. So we know that our h is a negative 1. Well, this negative h tells us to change it. Okay, so now it's a positive 1. be negative, so it stays the same. Whoops, not a K. 4. Okay, so we know that our vertex for this guy is 1, 4. We did not have to do any solving. Okay, the vertex form tells us our vertex. So we can go ahead and put that on our graph. So find 1 down here, and then go up to 4. There's your point. Okay, our trick works for this guy because if there's no number in front of our parentheses right here, it's technically an invisible 1, so we can use our trick of 1 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1. And mirror it on the other side. Up 1 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1 as well. Perfect. Very little solving to do for this guy. All you need to do is identify the h and the k. Know that the sign on the h changes. So it was a negative 1, now it's a positive 1. K stays the same, positive 4. Okay? Sorry, I made a mistake right there. And we are good. You will graph 1 in standard, actually 2 in standard form. And you will be good to go. Okay? Awesome. So there are your examples. Again, either print it off, take a picture of it, scan it, submit it through Canvas, or go on to wootmath.com. Do it that way. It automatically submits it to me, so you're good there. Thank you.